Okay, let's get going. We have lots of content this morning. So I'm Jean-Baptiste Minchelli. I'm a product management director at Salesforce, and I own the Lightning adoption. So everything for Lightning. If you move from Classic to Lightning, that's what my teams own. Before we start, you've seen that slide before. We're going to probably chat about the things that are coming. If you make any purchasing decision regarding Salesforce, make sure the products are already available, and you have the list on salesforce.com. This one, you've seen that slide. If you go to World Tours or Dreamforce, we like to thank customers and partners, and it's actually important to me. Because as a product manager, if Lightning is where it's at today, it's because of you, our partners, system integrators, MVPs, you name it, and all the feedback that you guys are giving every single day. So keep that coming. It's really important for us to get that feedback. The first thing I want to start is change management. If I ask you if you like changes, you're going to say yes. If you want to change, nobody's going to be in the room, right? And there is a reason why. We are a creature of habit, and changing is hard. And that's very true when you move from Classic to Lightning. And in my opinion, that transition process is 80% change management. Right? We're going to talk about technology, we're going to talk about roadmap, we're going to talk about gaps, we're going to talk about tools and strategy together. Change management is the thing that is the most overlooked in a Lightning transition. So think about that early and often, and everything will go well. We have what we call an adoption path at Salesforce, is how you make the transition from Classic to Lightning. We have 3 simple steps. The first one is discover, where you learn about Lightning. You're going to get the benefits, you're going to align your stakeholders. Rollout is where actually you do the actual work, correct your project plan, schedule, strategy, and so on. And optimize is when you're going to get feedback and make the implementation even better. Discover, you will need to align your teams. If you don't have key stakeholders in the beginning of the project, that's going to be doomed. Right? Don't even start. That's going to be a no-go. Make sure that key stakeholders, exec, you have approval. Everybody knows that what the project is and why you are doing it. Number 2, that's where you're going to be doing the rollout, and I'm going to be talking more about that piece, is make sure people on the field using Salesforce every single day are in the transition project. Get feedback from those guys. You're going to pick what I call a Salesforce champion. I don't know if you have a champion in your organization. If not, you need to pick one. That the people in the business working on Salesforce every single day. Then you're going to create your success measure and do your iteration in the optimize phase when you're going to get feedback and make Salesforce better. I went very quickly. That's, again, 80% of the work. The great thing is we have a tool called the Change Management Hub, available in 6 languages, where we have templates from email to communication plan, project plan, and so on, where we're going to give you insights on what to do when. That tool is available, like many others, in the Transition Assistant. That's available in Salesforce Setup. So if you're an admin, you go to Salesforce Setup, you click on the left-hand side. At the top there, you have Lightning Transition Assistant, and you're going to reach the tool that is a one-stop shop for everything Lightning transition. So if you ever get lost to remember where things are, you go there, and you will find it there. It's neatly organized in phases. The first tool that is the most important is a readiness check. A one-click going to give you a PDF report with the gaps and differences between your Classic implementation and your Lightning future implementation, and the road to get there. Number 2, we have a tool called Lightning Experience Configuration Converter. If you have JavaScript buttons, bad news, if you don't know, those are not supported in Lightning, you will need to convert them. That tool is going to give you the information on which button, which alternative for each button you can use. The same tool is going to do the same for Visualforce pages, an assessment on what's not working in Lightning. It's a very few things. 95% of Visualforce pages works out of the box in Lightning, right? You don't need to rewrite your VF pages in Lightning. You need to style them if you want them to look like Lightning, and that tool will help you to style them as well. And if something is broken, that tool will tell you. In the same tool, we assess the readiness of AppExchange packages. So if some are ready or not ready, we're going to tell you which one are. And we're going to also assess the hard-coded URLs. If you guys don't have my domain, when you move to Lightning, you will probably need to move to my domain. So that's one of the things that you should be doing. And if that's the case, if you have hard-coded URLs in your Visual Force pages, workflow rules, what have you, those will be broken. So that tool is going to assess that piece as well. Magic Mover for notes and attachment. So that's a tool to convert your old notes and your attachments to the new notes in Lightning, because we have a brand new notes, and Salesforce files, which is much better than attachment as well. So that tool allows you to do that. It's available, this one, on the AppExchange. Last but not least, the Salesforce Optimizer. Who knows the Salesforce Optimizer here? Okay, quite a few, great. So you know the app. The thing is, you can use the optimizer when you do what I call a Salesforce reboot. What does that mean? Some of you might have a pretty old Salesforce implementation. What does that mean? That means many things might be unused, right? You have probably workflow rules that are triggered, but unnecessarily. You have probably fields that are unused on the page. That's what we have at Salesforce, right? 20 years old implementation. Obviously, you have layers of admin coming, adding things on the page. Many things are unused. With Salesforce Optimizer, you will be able to do some cleanup. So what I call technical debt and business debt. So your business processes have probably changed. The optimizer is going to give you insight on what you can update when you do the Lightning transition. It's a great way and a great time to do that update. What you can do at the same time with Optimizer is drive adoption with specific features that are only in Lightning. An example, one is Path. I don't know if you guys heard about Path, which is basically a chevron that shows you the process for sales service or what have you, and the optimizer is going to recommend some of those key features in Lightning if you don't use them. Last but not least, that's the usage app. So when you're in Lightning, you want to see, are people using Lightning or not, or are they going back to Classic? The usage app is going to give you insight on who is switching back to Classic and why they are doing it. So all those tools, again, are available in the Transition Assistant. So you go in Setup, you click on that thing, and you will see those tools organized in those three phases I just was talking about earlier. Discover, Rollout, Optimize. Okay, we're going to chat now on how to drive adoption. That's something we can use today, available in the product. If you use Classic, you want to try to motivate users to move to Lightning. We have something called Better in Lightning. Those things are configurable in Setup. They are on by default when you give access to Lightning to specific users. So they're starting those prompts for calendar, tasks, dashboards, and reports. That's going to give them why they should be using Lightning on a daily basis, and a little video snippets on why is it better. We have another tool working on the change management piece that's going to be auto-switching users to Lightning on a weekly basis. Right? So you give access to users, you train them, you make Lightning better, they're still going back to Classic. Well, you can use that tool, which is on by default. Every Monday, they're going to be logging in Lightning, right? So it's working on the change management. After 10 times, maybe they're going to give up and say, oh, actually, it's better in Lightning, so I'm going to stay in Lightning. So it's a great way to slowly force people to use a new UI. That's something that we used at Salesforce when we roll out to our sales team. Our sales team sometimes don't really like changes as well, and it was very efficient to drive adoption before you do a hard cut of Lightning, of Classic. When you do that, you can actually collect feedback from users and get the feedback when they switch back to Classic. There is a form that you can enable. This one is off by default. You go in Setup in the adoption page, and you can ask a question. Why are you switching back to Classic? Is there a specific reason, or you don't have time, you don't like it, what have you, or is there a specific gap that you need to address? So a great way to get feedback from end users is to use that feedback form. Once you're ready to really make the move to Lightning, The best way to drive adoption is to shut down Classic. That's easy. Then people don't have access to Classic, then they're going to use a new thing. That's how many companies actually do that, right? If you have an iPhone or what have you, sometimes they force you to upgrade, and that's what it is. And I'm going to go back to change management. So I said at the beginning, it's 80% of the job. And the reality is change management, it's better with communication and training. So we have been implementing what we call the user guidance platform. So that thing is a set of tools, and I'm going to describe a few, where you can inform and teach people on the fly in context in Lightning. First example is a welcome mat. So the first time they're going to be logging into Lightning experience, they will receive that small window that by default we configure with Salesforce content, but you can override if you want. So you have access to that window, and you can provide your own content, your own onboarding material. So if you go to the setup page you have on the right, you will be able to configure that by yourself. Second thing is to do training prompt on every page within Salesforce. Now you can have a small window at the, on the side that's going to be popping up, and you can write your own content. So you guys probably have training materials, PDF, PowerPoint, what have you. It's better to have them on the screen, and they are short and sweet and in context. That thing is click, no code, and you will be able to deploy those training prompts directly on the screen. So it's a great way and very efficient to make that happen. Two announcements, and I hope you guys are ready. Winter 20, so in the next few weeks, you guys know we're going to enable Lightning in all your orgs, but at the org level, not for all users. If you use custom profiles, those are not impacted. But if you use standard profiles, all the users will have access to Lightning. It's coming. There is no opt-out. There is no delay. It's coming. But we have seen that since December. I hope you guys know. Last one, very exciting. We have the new mobile app. You might have not heard about this one. It's coming also in Winter 20. If you have the mobile app today, it will be automatically upgraded in spring 20. So in February next year, it will be auto-upgraded. You will have also no choice, no opt-out, nothing. It will be an auto-update. But you can opt in now, and you should because it's great. It's really like the conversion between Lightning experience and the Salesforce mobile app. If you do your customization of your record page in Lightning via the app builder, then they will show now on the phone, even for the record page. You have Lightning Voice, where you can take notes on the fly. You don't need to type anymore, and many, many other things. You can put it in Sandbox. It's Sandbox already deployed. Try it out. It's pretty cool. And I guess that's it for today. Do you guys have any questions? We have a mic here if people have questions.
Hi, my name is Lorenzo. What's the best answer to users that tell you Lightning is too slow? Like, how do you address this? Like,
so I have three parts answer. The first one is you need to look at your implementation, and if things are indeed slow. If you have too many things on the page, too many fields, components that are unused. And for that, you can use optimizers that are going to give you insights. An example, in Lightning, by default, you have the news component that is loaded on the record page. If you don't use a news component, well, you can remove it or put it on the secondary tab. Make sure that the things loaded on the first tab are the most useful, which is a second thing, second part of the answer. Make sure that on the screen, people see what they are used to. And I'm going to take the example of the record page again. The detail by default is on the second sub-tab in record page. So you need to do an extra click. So it might feel as slow. It's not, but it might feel as slow because actually you need to click more. Go to the builder and probably put the detail on the first tab. Or use a new simple record home that has been deployed last release as well. Last one, so that's on us. That's not on you guys. We are working on performance sometimes. Some pages are actually indeed slow. We have been working a lot for the last 2 years on performance, and we are doing a last push in the next release.
On next release. Does it include reports?
Does it include?
Reports?
Yes. Okay. Yeah, you will see some performance upgrade for reports in the next release and the following one as well. But that's the same. One is perception. If you do preview all the time, each time you add something that's perceived performance. Number two, I've seen customers with 90 columns in a report. Do you use 90 columns? Maybe not.
Thank you.
Hello. Will Salesforce turn off Salesforce Classic in future releases?
By turning off, are you saying end of life?
Yes.
Okay, so there is no plan for end of life. Now I'm going to be very clear. And that's what has been written on the website for probably 2 years already. All the innovation that Salesforce is doing, all the development, all my developers are working solely in Lightning. There is no new features coming into Classic for the last 2 years already. And I'm not going to break the news, but you know already, there is no new feature that's coming to Classic ever. It's not coming. So there is no plan to end of life at this stage. Maybe it will be coming in 1-2 years, TBD. But if you're not on Lightning or planning to go to Lightning, you are missing out. Because we have hundreds of new features that are in Lightning. Most of our customers are already on Lightning or planning to move to Lightning, and that's where the thing happens. Do you mind taking the mic?
My name is Thierry. I would like to know if all the features in Classic are available in Lightning today.
So for Sales Cloud, yes. For Sales Cloud, if you use Sales Cloud, most are already available. For Service Cloud, the teams are still working on a few gaps. If you go to salesforce.com/lightning, you will see a link to the roadmap, and you will see when those features are coming. Some might never come to Lightning, depending on the usage and the feedback with customers. Otherwise, some might work differently as well. Right? There is not a one-on-one relationship all the time. Some things we reinvent those features working with our customers, so they might work a bit differently.
Good morning. My name is Gil. You showed a few slides back about user engagement, welcome page, welcome to Lightning. Is that only in the context of Classic to Lightning, or it can be also used for Greenfield org in Lightning?
It could be used that's available in Lightning Experience. That's one of the Lightning-only features you can use for training in Lightning. So if you create a new org tomorrow that is in Lightning, you can onboard your users and train your users in Lightning.
Okay.
Any other questions? If you don't, I'm going to be staying near the room there. I'm available for if people are shy and don't want to ask questions. I'm also available to give one-on-one consultation on the Lightning transition. Again, I'm going to say in the next 2 weeks, you're going to be Lightning enabled. That doesn't mean you need to have Lightning on your OR for all users. But what we want to do at Salesforce is really give you the last motivation to make the move. Right? It's really important for you guys to be on Lightning. Otherwise, you're missing out. But you bought Lightning, you bought Salesforce because you have the free innovation 3 times a year. You don't have that free innovation 3 times a year with Classic anymore. Thank you.